Hi folks, this is Rob, VK3BVW from the Mount Evelyn DX report. Just recently I've had about 5 or 6 people quite independently write to me and say, can you tell me something about your antenna system here? So I thought I'd do one better than that and actually get a video together. So we'll take you outside the shack and give you a wander around the backyard so that you can see what's going on. You won't see anything particularly fancy here. It's nothing too sophisticated, nothing too much out of the ordinary. I haven't got any 3-element tri-band beams sitting up on top of high towers. I did do that years ago and I haven't done that for a long time now. It was really good in those days to have a 3-element tri-band beam for 10, 15 and 20 metres, and we made a lot of DX contacts with that. But these days, out in this beautiful environment of Mount Evelyn, I tend to take a more low profile approach to the antennas, and so therefore we've got wire antennas. 3 of those antennas are the double bazookas, and they're also known as a coaxial dipole by some people. So we'll take a look at those, and I also have one of the little PAR SWL N-Fed antenna, a broadband antenna, which works really quite well, and particularly from about 10 megahertz right up to almost 28 megahertz. So it's really quite effective for little reference antenna as well. So so that's what we've got. So we'll take you out and have a bit of a look at it, and you can and see what you think. Here's a shot looking from our back door towards part of our backyard, the first of our backyards. Has a bit of a tropical theme to it with the palm trees there, which is a bit unusual, I guess, for a very temperate climate in southeastern Australia. We have lots of different plants here. This is the driveway. Looking along the side of the house, I have part of the 3.5 megahertz antenna is strung up there. My workshop is behind the car in the garage there. And here's another shot looking towards the house. And there's the cubby house. That's where my wife Jan sends me when I've been naughty. You can also see a gate down there. That leads down to our second backyard there. And so we go down a little path there to what is really quite a tranquil environment. We sit here quite often and we'll read or just listen to the sounds of the birds. We have lots of different sorts of birds visiting the area, kookaburras and parrots and magpies and owls and all sorts. There's a creek running through our backyard. This creek comes from a little spring up at the top of the Mount Evelyn hill, and at the time that this is recorded here in late summer, there isn't a lot of water in the creek, but in winter it's the creek is running quite swiftly. On the other side of the creek there are some trees, which are very useful antenna supports. That's a really nice environment down here. We've got 3 water tanks, rainwater tanks. They hold 13,000 litres. And so that actually keeps us going for about 9 months of the year. It supplies all our water for the house. We turn the tanks off in summer for about 3 months so that we can use town water, and we use the tanks for water in the garden. You can see a blue canister down there. That's one of the 2 filters that we use for filtering the nice crystal clear water that we get from our water tanks. So we save quite a bit of money on using fresh water. Here's the door to my radio shack. The shack is actually a room off the back of the garage. You can see there one of the antennas. That's the 14 megahertz antenna with the VHF UHF antenna below it. And the taller pole here has the 7 and 3.5 megahertz antennas. So the top of those antennas is about 10 metres up off the ground at this point. But then, of course, the land falls away quite significantly after that. There's a shot of the little PAR SWLN fed antenna, just to have a little bit of a look at that. Hangs off the side of the shack. And there's another look at our antenna supports. It's a little bit hard to see there, but I've taken a photo here of the 7 megahertz antenna. Well, at least you can see one leg of it. The other leg gets lost in the backdrop of the trees there, and it's hard to see. 3.5 megahertz antenna is the one that goes up the side of the house and out towards the creek. The 14 megahertz antenna and the VHF UHF system there. The 7 megs antenna is tied off at a young gum tree down near the creek. And it goes all the way up to that antenna support. The 80 metre antenna, of course, being 80 metres, it's 40 metres long, so it's quite a big antenna. So one leg of that runs along the side of the house, up above the roof line, attaches to the antenna support up there, and on the other side of that 80 metre antenna goes all the way across the backyard, across the creek, and up to this naturally growing antenna support right here. So we're going to take a look up on the roof now. The gutters need a bit of a clean there. So that's looking to a couple of our antenna supports across the creek. This is our antenna support for the 7 and 3.5 megahertz antennas. The 7 megahertz antenna is the lower one. All our antennas run on pulleys, so we can service them from the ground without having to get up on the roof, which makes my wife a lot happier. She says I'll fall off. That's the 14 megahertz antenna. It has a choke balun up the top there. That's mainly for transmitting purposes there, just to keep RF out of the shack. It's got a few cobwebs on the antenna connector up there too, I see. And you can also see the VHF UHF antenna as well. I don't do much transmitting on VHF. It's mainly for listening. There's the PAR-N fed antenna, and if that's been up for about, it'll be over 3 years, and you wouldn't know it. It's really, really clean. It's very, very nice there. One of the yellow ties is tying the antenna to the side of the roof, but you'll also see that there's another yellow wire that goes down to earth, and it's important that antenna be earthed so that you reduce the amount of noise that gets onto the antenna. So that antenna is strung out right above, high above the water tanks, high above the creek, and over onto a tree on the other side of the bank there. That PAR-N fed antenna needs that earth connection, and that's what that is there. There's a bit of self-insulating tape around there just to minimise the amount of corrosion that can get on the connectors there, being so close to the ground. And while we're looking at the ground system, there's 3 copper rods into the ground there. Each one is about 1.5 metres long, and they go up into the shack through the floor. And while I was taking some video and photos here, this fellow came down and watched me, so I promised him I'd put him in the video just to make him happy. So there you have it. Thanks for coming in, having a little visit at my place and having a look at our antenna system. Hope you enjoyed the visit, and if you've got any comments to offer, write them down below here, and we'd certainly love to hear from you. So thanks once again, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. 73 and good DX to you all.